Good afternoon to everybody. Thanks for clicking on to the Monday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. We're back to another working week once again. And has the weather changed? No, is the short answer to that. This is the last 45 days of the CFSV2 data, or CDAS data, should I say. And you can see that this is generally the period between the end of May right the way through till the 8th of July. And we have got a firmly below average situation continuing over the UK and Ireland, and even into France, the Low Countries, Germany, close to the average, and even down across Siberia. It has been no great shakes in terms of heat here either, but certainly draw a line right down the spine of Europe. You've got a warm east and cool west to the continent. So, like I say, this is the past full 45 days, which is rather impressive when you think about it. This is the month of July so far. So we've completed week 1 of July, and this is the temperature anomalies, and it would take quite a little bit to reverse this cold anomaly that we have got going. It's firmly entrenched through the 8th of July, and we do, although, have some flirts with something a little bit warmer towards mid to late month. It'll be interesting to see how this overall month pans out. Could we get back to back below average months for the UK? It would be sod's law given that the mild winter overall that we've seen back during the winter season. So anyway, this is the radar for the UK as of the time of recording. You can see here plenty of shower activity, especially across northern UK. But you can't help but notice the mass of rain that is now edging into the southern UK as we move into the latter afternoon, into the evening. Tonight we have got a band of further heavy persistent rain moving in, and that is going to create a rather soggy night, especially initially across the south, but then it's going to work its way northwards. We do have a rainfall warning in place, a yellow warning for the southwest. This is off the BBC Twitter page here, showing a yellow warning in place between 6 p.m. this evening and 3 a.m. tomorrow morning for heavy persistent rain. Then the yellow warning moves to the north of the UK as we move towards 2200 tomorrow evening through midnight Wednesday. And the reason for that is because if you look at the this is the arpeggiator initially. Total accumulated precipitation. You can see here that we've got two areas of heavy precipitation: eastern Scotland, northeastern Scotland, and also across the southwest of the UK. This is rainfall between now and the end of this working week here. Look at the amount of rainfall we're still seeing over central areas of Europe here. You could draw a line right through the middle. That has been where the mean frontal system, between the contrast separating very hot, humid, dry air and very, very refreshing air, if you want to put it that way. I know a lot of people will probably get angry at that term, refreshing, because you want to see warm conditions. But generally speaking, we've had generally Atlantic dominant weather over the northwest, and we've got hot continental across the southeast of Europe here. And this is exactly what we're going to see in terms of looking at the UK specifically off the arpeggiator between now and the end of this week. So these are rainfall totals. You can see here that we pick up a decent amount of rain over parts of eastern Scotland. I think we could see some more significant rain across the Inverness area, Moray, Cromarty, Dornoch, Firth region here, as we've got a kind of east and northeasterly flow that then develops here. If we look at the overview chart here of the arpeggiator model, you can see the system edging in to the southern half of the UK during the course of this evening here. So we'll lose the shower activity as the sun sets this evening. It will turn reasonably cool, and then as we progress through the course of tomorrow, we'll see that band of heavy rainfall moving northwards here. Then it's followed by another pulse of rain into the south of the UK, if you notice here. But as we progress into the second half of tomorrow, you can see here some brighter colours representing heavier precipitation moving in off the North Sea into the Edinburgh, Tayside, Angus area. We could see some significant 50 plus millimetres of rain falling within a few hours here. Then as that band continues to progress northwards, we are going to see some of that moisture funnel through the various gaps, natural gaps in geography here. So Murray Firth, Cromarty Firth, and the Dornoch Firth, as you drive that moisture in, That moisture then bumps up into the hills, and then we could see some significant rainfall totals through the course of tomorrow evening and through a good part of Wednesday as well, by the way. Hence why we've got a yellow warning in place all the way to midnight Wednesday, or 23:59, I think it is. But you can see here the kind of system becomes a little bit stuck. Not a particularly deep area of low pressure, but we will have breeze around it. But it's actually the rain amounts that are going to be quite significant as that feature becomes stuck in place here. And then eventually what will happen is it kind of wrings itself out and then kind of moves away. And what we are left with is higher pressure, drier conditions, better weather as we move towards the end of the week. This is off the GFS here, and you can see same idea if we look at the UK. So this is obviously rainfall totals between now and the end of this working week. But if we look at the UK view, same idea as the arpege model here. Just bear with me a little second here. You can see here there's that heavy rainfall moving northwards through the overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. Secondary pulse moves in behind the main feature. Then as a low, same idea, it becomes kind of stuck just to the east, the centre of low pressure just to the east of Aberdeen here, and then we'll have that kind of east to northeasterly flow continuing to drive moisture in overnight tomorrow night into Wednesday here, and then eventually, like the arpege, it clears away and we're left with a higher pressure pattern towards the end of the working week. Now if we skip on to the bigger picture and look at the 850 temperature anomalies here, it looks as if the models are doing a very hard, making it a very difficult job to get any kind of true heat into our pattern. So you can see here off the 850s, off the GFS here, the model does a great job at avoiding the UK in terms of that heat. So we've got the building heat across the south and the southeast of the continent, lifting eastwards and northwards here. We've got the 2-3 systems over the next week to 10 days that are going to be moving into the UK. But look at this here, it just simply kind of acts as a blocker, stopping this warmth from lifting into the UK. But at the very end of this loop, which takes us out to the 21st of July, by the way, we've got a little flirt with something a little bit warmer. And this is the forecast that I've got. Cool first half, warmer second half of July. But even getting close to average would certainly be an achievement. Just the way this summer has been playing out, really. Let's have a look at the ECM model here just real quick and see what it's showing in terms of the 850 temperatures. Obviously, it gives you a good handle in terms of what kind of air mass you're kind of dealing with. Obviously, in the sunshine, it feels fairly warm. The sun is at its strongest of the entire year, so even in this cool air mass, I had one comment by Mark saying, is it not normal to have a cool atmosphere, but in the sun it feels really quite warm? Well, obviously you're talking about the sun being at its strongest of the year. So even in cool air masses, it still feels decent. If you're sitting in the car, if you're sitting in the conservatory, for example, it's warm. It might only be 10 Celsius outside, but the energy of that sun is very notable at this time of the year. But you can see here as we play through the ECMWF, again, it seems to ward off that warmth coming in from the south here, hence why the temperature anomalies for the upcoming week looks like this off the GFS extended here. So this is the upcoming 7 days between Sunday the 7th and Sunday the 14th of the month, still below average. And given the fact that this is the month so far, it's going to take a heck of a lot of warmth during the second half of the month to turn this cold anomaly around. This is likely to be one of the coolest Julys in quite some time. Possibly 2015, I think, may ring a bell. Possibly even July 2012, for example. This could be one of the cooler Julys in quite some time if we have a really difficult time getting any appreciable warmth into this pattern. Also wanted to show you a couple of interesting things here. We obviously have seen the landfall, the final landfall of Hurricane Beryl. It did move ashore as an 80-mile-per-hour hurricane, and thankfully dry air just did enough to stop this system from really winding up. The pressure actually in the final hour or so of landfall dropped 10 millibars, and we've seen the system really gather in pace, but it simply ran out of space and it moved on shore as an 80-mile-per-hour system. Had it had even another 12 hours over open water, this system was likely going back to major status once again. And that was the fear that I did have back on Saturday when I did my video, that if the dry air is able to get pushed out of the circulation early enough, that could be a real problem for Texas. But thankfully, it stayed away, and therefore we managed to dodge a bit of a bullet in Texas. So covered Beryl. We've seen some outstanding heat, 129 degrees in Death Valley yesterday, only 1 degree off the highest reliable recorded temperature on Earth. And also, we blew the record away in Las Vegas. Now, I think there was 5 attempts in the last 20 years or so at surpassing 117 as Las Vegas's all-time record. Well, it hit 120 yesterday afternoon, so that record was well and truly blown away. I want to show you this interesting tweet here by Christian. I quite like his expert analysis when it comes to global weather patterns and other various teleconnections and the interaction between one another. But this is an interesting tweet here showing that this week, so this work week, we've got 3 major areas of heat wave conditions in around the planet. One being over the western United States, we're going to continue to see that heat taking place. Central and Eastern Europe, we're going to continue to see very hot conditions here, and also across central and north central areas of Asia, we're going to continue to see some outstanding heat. So this is the current UK temperatures at the time of recording, 14s and 15s across the north, only upper teens to around 21 down across southern UK. And this, I believe, is the coolest open to a July for the UK in 22 years, by the way. Very, very interesting. I know a lot of people hate that word interesting. They're saying it's been horrible. It's been dreadful this summer so far. But from a meteorological point of view, it's quite interesting, given the fact that a lot of people probably had a hot summer forecasted. This, by the way, is the current temperatures across Europe. And basically, Scandinavia and the UK are missing out on proper summer warmth. The majority of mainland Europe is actually seeing some pretty warm conditions, especially down across the southeast corner, where it has been a very hot summer so far. Spain, low 30s, nothing too extreme or dramatic here. Pretty typical for this time of the year, obviously. And let me see here a couple of other interesting little notables to talk about here. So that is the 3 areas of heat wave conditions over the course of this week. Talked about the heat wave in the western United States. Interesting couple of tweets here. London and Southeast weather. Daniel shows that quite impressive. A week into July and most UK sites have not yet reached 20 Celsius, and where it has, only fractionally in most cases. Here at the house, only 3 days above 20 so far this summer, and that is going by the 1st of June till now, obviously. And he also tweeted here to say that mid-February 2024, historic warmth, and now early July, rather exceptional coolness on the 6th of July. Mean temperature fell to 5% percentile, i.e. 95% of years have been warmer for the date and time series is a very long one here. So quite a rare maximum across the British Isles in terms of the CET here for the 6th of July here. Pretty rare stuff to see the 95% of years going by warmer than it was on the 6th of July. Also says that July is currently tracking cooler than May. Not normal, but a reminder that the weather does not follow the calendar. So we're going with this, through the 6th of the month, the CET is sitting at minus 2.1, minus 0.1 for June. And obviously all the preceding months so far this year have been warmer than average. So Willie Mossop says that for Central England, it's the coldest start to a July in 22 years, with a maximum anomalies over 3 lower than the 91 to 2020 long-term average. So this is turning out to be a rather impressively cool first week or so of July. And given what we've seen in June, obviously marginally below average, it wasn't mega so, but nonetheless it was still interesting to see this trend through sod's law, the summer months when everybody wants to see some warmth. So yeah, I think I've spoken long enough. Did you check out the live stream yesterday? Were you a part of that? If you haven't, it is freely available to watch back. Talked a lot about the heat wave in the Western United States, Hurricane Beryl, and other aspects of extremes going on around the world. Back on Saturday, I done an in-depth tropical outlook. I will try and do a tropical outlook over the next 24 hours. Going to be a little bit tight for time tomorrow. I've got quite a lot of things going on tomorrow, so I'm going to be a little bit strapped for spare time, but I will try and get a tropical outlook done. And yeah, join me tomorrow for all the next video. So take care and enjoy the rest of your Monday. Bye for now.